Okay, here we are. It is a little after 12, and after work, I just drank a full can of Bang, which is no sugar energy drink. Anyway, so I'm doing something a little outside of my comfort zone, and I'm filming a video about writing. First thing we're going to start with is my first idea was writing communities. And I'm going to kind of nix the word community because that sounds very distant, and I'm going to call it a writing family. I'm lucky enough to have a good circle of friends that are my writing family. Uh, Tyronica, Carrie, Colin. On the outside, it's Michelle, Crystal, Katie Jordan, Kyle. All these people provided an important part in my writing life. So, writing, let's start with what writing is. Writing is communicating with a reader, and it's a very intimate relationship that you have, but there are steps to get there first. Like, we all have this perfect idea in our head, and the first thing we need to do is distance ourselves from the word perfect, because nothing ever comes out perfect. It just doesn't. Whatever's in your head is never going to come out on the page perfect. You're always going to look at it and say, well, I could do something else with it. I could improve it in some way. And the problem is that's a never ending cycle that leads us to never put out our work. So, this is where your writing family is very important. And I have a base three people, and they each kind of, they serve important parts. And since they're internet friends, I have the luxury of building my own reality around them. So, like Tyronica. Tyronica is from St. Louis. She's a erotic thriller writer, and to me, she is a mix of like Mama Cleo and generic older black woman. So when she talks, I hear a lot of child, and things that make her very vibrant in my head and very alive, more so than most people in my real life. But she's very much so the supportive person. She she's kind of my PIC, which is partner in crime, which means that she goes along with most of my silly ideas. And when I say to myself, I want to write a fantasy punk western, she's like, go for it. Next up is Carrie. Carrie's my Aussie friend. Uh, Carrie, she kind of fills a mother role and also a naysayer role. When I say things like I want to write a fantasy punk western where we have knights with guns, she says, knights don't have guns. And she's very much British in my head, even though I know she's Australian. She's, but of course, I picture her as an angry British Chihuahua. She, I mean, if you don't know Carrie, you know, she seems to be very supportive, very motherly. But then you get to know her, and she's supportive, she's motherly, but she's also sometimes she's very angry, which is awesome. It makes her a much fuller person. It's enjoyable to hear her rants. I mean, this girl, whew, she can rant. But I digress. Then there's Colin. Colin is another Aussie, but he lives in the Eastern Bloc, and I always pictured him as a drunk Irishman. I still know he's Aussie, but he's the one I send things to. He kind of does the, ugh, lad, what are you doing in this? I see where you're going, but it's not totally there. And I'm sure that's not what he sounds like, but again, he's an internet friend. I can make up whatever I want. Then we got Michelle. Michelle is less. I mean, she's a writing friend, but she's less writing oriented. She's more kind of like a regular friend because those are important because everything can't be about writing. So, she fits that important role where I remember that. Oh yeah, I don't have to write all the time to be a writer because if you write all the time, then it gets boring and old, and then you stop doing it. And then Crystal, she's like a redneck unicorn. She that's I think that's the best way to describe her. Crystal's a redneck unicorn, but you know she's the hey y'all, and did you write yet? Not you. She's like a Jeff Foxworthy joke come to life. I expect her to one day be like, y'all, I just mowed my lawn and found 3 cars we forgot about. But so yeah, and then we got Katie Jordan and Kyle. They fit a more mentor student role because they're kind of newbies, which makes it interesting because you know, like I said, writing isn't a solitary journey. Someone always helps you out, and someone pushes you forward. Someone, you know, brings you to that next level. And I'm not saying I'm the perfect writer or I'm the greatest writer, but I'm an experienced writer. I've been published. I've done, and I'm still starting. I mean, I'm not, done with my journey, but by all means, it's never too early to start giving back, especially when, you know, your experience is fresh. Like, you remember when you were struggling to submit things or struggling to, write in a progressive fashion or, whatever it is. So it's always good to keep people around that you can give back to because it makes you feel like part of the circle because someone always helped you and so now you can help them. So that's kind of what my writing family because it's important. There are people that are going to read you bounce ideas off. They're going to read your writing. They're going to tell you what's wrong. They're going to tell you where you need to tighten things up, what words don't sound right, and they do it. It's easier to accept because they're your friends and you know about them, and but it's more than just that. You're your family, so you're in their lives. Like when their kids are getting married. Who's going to football practice, baseball practice. You know about their children. You know about just the random minutia that comes with being in a sort of weird family dynamic, friends, whatever. But it helps you in all sorts of ways. It helps you through the bad times, the dark times. I mean, I have other people like TG from England, Beth from Italy. These are people I don't talk to constantly, but they still when I wrote my little essay on depression, you know, Beth shot me several messages about it because she was curious as to if that was truly about me and, if that's how I felt and those were the things that and then, we had a conversation about it and she said, well, she gave her experiences, she gave her chocolate theory, which was kind of weird and all Beth and, but it's important to surround yourself with people that are not just supportive but are truthful with you. That'll tell you when because not everything is gonna be gold, but not everything is gonna be crap. But you have to know when people when your writing is crap and when it is gold and when it is perfect and when it is well, it's never perfect, but when it is good enough, because you can't keep it. I mean, it's kind of pointless to keep your writing to yourself. At some point, you have to put it out there so somebody else reads it, so somebody else looks at it, so you communicate, because that's the base meaning for writing is that you want to communicate. You're communicating your idea to another person so they can get lost in your world, in your little microcosm, your little universe that you've created with words. And if nobody ever reads it, if nobody ever sees it, I mean, I'm not going to say you failed as a writer, but you're kind of missing the point. Like, and it's not just about submitting it. It's not about putting it out on the internet. It's about touching another, getting the chance to touch another person's life in a way that you probably could never do in your real life. So, you know, we should all be lucky to be surrounded by a writing family. And if you don't have a writing family, I would suggest you get one. So, yeah, if there's, any questions, or maybe you want to, show off your writing family in the comments below, that'd be great. But yeah, everybody have a good Saturday night. That was me signing out.